Howdy, folks. Welcome back. It seems like all the researchers are saying things like, Mars is a dead planet and that's had a serious catastrophe. The atmosphere has been ripped away, and, there was probably a nuclear war, and there's nuclear radiation and solar radiation, and that it's impossible to have life on this planet. These pictures right here I'm showing you right now are pictures of what I think are machinery, are road machinery made to make roads. I'm not going to get into detail, I'm just going to show you the pictures. And that there's no water on Mars, there's no life, it's not possible, and supposedly NASA discovered water, or they think there's maybe a ocean of water underneath the ground. And then they went on to say that the Curiosity rover may have discovered the possibility of ancient microbial life. Now, how do you discover a possibility? It doesn't even make sense. Yeah, a possibility of ancient microbial life. That doesn't even make sense. And then there's the Brandenberg guy who said that, that there was this nuclear war and the radiation in the atmosphere only comes from nuclear weapons. And, I don't believe any of it. I don't believe anything, not one single thing that anybody says about Mars or other places. Everybody's finding junk. They find pieces of things torn apart, ripped apart, pieces of statues, skulls, and mummified this and mummified that, and based on all of these pictures that Mars is a dead planet. And it was torn apart by this catastrophe, probably a nuclear war. And the thing about it is it's based on all of these people that are saying this are basing all of their information or all of their opinions on the pictures that they see from the Curiosity rover. Well, what about the rest of the planet? Maybe Gale Crater was hit. But it's not just junk there. There's whole things too, but there is a hell of a lot of junk. And the thing is, there is all this junk, and I've been saying for a long time that civilization on Mars is a couple million years old. And look at all this junk in this picture here. There's virtually nothing here that isn't something that was torn apart and broken up. But you're also going to see pictures of things that are complete as well. And I think this is stuff that, yes, it could have been destroyed a very, very long time ago. A very long time ago. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, a million years ago. And this is just part of the terrain for the people that live here. But people did survive. And all this stuff is here. And so are they. So are the people. Just because there's junk doesn't mean that there isn't other things that are whole. And I don't know why. I've said it before. I don't know why some of these other researchers aren't finding any of the stuff that's put together, that's still whole. This looks like a little ship right here. I've seen shown examples of other little triangular crafts before. Slightly different shapes. This one that we're looking at here seems to have something on top of it, hanging over the side of it on the right side, on our right. And not only is there that one, but if you look at the 7 o'clock position in relation to that triangular ship. There's another little white triangular one. It's almost a drone size. It looks too small for anybody that got out of the big triangular one to get into that little one. So is that some kind of a drone or something? I don't know. But even these rocks right here, and again, I just want to say this is a junkyard. There's whole things around here, but there's a lot of junk. And there's people living in amongst this, and I think there's also not just people, that there's other types of creatures, maybe intelligent, probably intelligent creatures. I'm going to show you some picture of those in a little bit. But this is obviously not a rock, and it seems like everything that's big isn't a rock. It's a giant piece of busted up machinery or something. And everything that I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you quite a few things here. Everything that I'm going to show you is within feet of each other. It might be 50 feet, 100 feet, 200 feet, several hundred feet. But everything is in this one picture. And it's all very close to each other. This looks like some kind of a trailer. And what it is amongst, and all of the rocks that are around it are not rocks. It's torn apart machinery. And this trailer thing with the big wheels on it there has a box on this side of it that's sitting on a foundation that is not on the foundation all the way. And if you ask me, there's a person on the ground underneath the front of that trailer, is leaned up or is laying down and has his right arm up trying to work on something. Just my opinion. Take it or leave it. It looks like a person to me, but it could be something else. It's amazing to think of how much stuff is here. This is a very huge picture. And by the way, I'm going to leave a link to it. This is a Gigapan. It's an interactive Gigapan. And I really recommend that you click on it and go there. And there's so much to discover here. You'll probably find your own discoveries. There's so much, and you can. It's such a huge picture, and you can zoom in on it. In the interactive part of this photograph from Gigapan. It's really cool. So I recommend that you go there and look around. Now here's a picture. Shows a little saucer-shaped craft in the middle, but to the right, coming down from the 1 o'clock position, you can see the trailer. It's very, very close. Here's your saucer, just kind of sitting there. It looks like it has something attached. To me, it looks like an awning. I said that once before. It cracks me up. I don't know what it is, obviously. Now here you see at the 9 o'clock position the trailer coming in from the 9 o'clock, and then coming down from the 2 o'clock position is something else. These things are very, very close, maybe 100 feet apart, maybe a little bit more than that. There's this very long triangular thing up towards the top there. There we go, right in the middle. And if you ask me, in my humble opinion, this is also a ship. This looks like something that has a gun on it, a big weapon in the front of it. The front of this triangular craft is all smashed up. And it has a turret that is off to the side. And you can see there's a depression in the top of it, right where that turret would fit right in there. And the turret is facing us. It should be turned 45 degrees to face forward. And when I put it in the negative, you can get a good idea. You can really see the depression where that turret would sit in. And that big rock that it's sitting next to is not a rock. It's something mechanical, something metallic. Now, here's a good example of people living, of a structure where people live, albeit the strangest structure you've ever seen in your life. And it has all these pipes on the side that are all squiggly, and they all come together and they coalesce, and they drop down into what looks like a big vat, a big holding tank on the side. And then the dark area in back has, to the left, coming right there about the 11 o'clock position, it looks like a face in agony. And based on all of some of the videos that I have, I now am convinced that that is a face. This is something that they do. And right in front of this strange structure is their flying saucer. And back in the middle between those two structures is what looks like some kind of a truck. Now here is, at the top left corner, you can see the little taco truck, the little thing I showed you before. And straight down from that is a pointy triangular part sticking out of the dirt. And to me, that looks like the same thing as that other broken down warbird with the has the same kind of gun on it. And except the front end on this is not smashed up like the other one, and the gun is in this case is facing to the left. It's destroyed as well, but it's there. I think it's the same thing as that other one, same identical thing. Now I'm kind of a little bit crazy. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a weird trip here. By the way, if you look at the top left corner or top right corner coming down from the 1-2 o'clock position, it looks like there is a saucer that's about 1/3 buried. Now this is a negative picture, and some things come out in the negative. If you look right in the middle there, it looks like there's a saucer shape with something coming down off the side. It's very, very clear. And the saucer coming down from the 2-3 o'clock position is also very visible here. But when this goes back to the regular picture, you cannot see any of this. Very, very strange. I probably shouldn't even have taken the time to try and show that to you. But again, look at the top left corner of this picture. You can see the that little trailer looking thing up there. This is to give you some perspective. And I colorized, or I should say I took the color out of that saucer on the top right corner, so you can see it pretty clearly. And straight down from that saucer is what I think is maybe some beings looking at the camera from inside of some kind of a structure. There they are coming in from the 9 o'clock position. There seems to be two faces. One is leaned over looking out sideways. The other one is looking right at us. And in between them, I think, is a small one there, which you can just barely see the eyes. And then the other structure on the right-hand side, there's a square-shaped structure there, and this butterfly-looking thing. I mean, I've never been able to figure out what that is. I mean, obviously it's not a real butterfly. Is it artwork, you know? Artwork. You know, this place has culture. We've seen it before in some of my previous videos, in particular Finding Waldo and Friends. It's incredible pictures. This is a cultured, this planet has culture. It's not dead. Maybe it came back from the brink, or at least in Gale Crater. These are the only kind of pictures we've seen, and they only come from Gale Crater. So who knows what the rest of the planet looks like. I've shown you whole cities, so I'm convinced that the planet is doing well. There's just a lot of debris in these pictures right here. And there's another person standing here, in my opinion. And standing, about 30 feet away from some kind of a frame, a structure. It looks like the frame of a truck or something with a motor in it. It's kind of laying on its side. Again, it's just more debris. And everything of any size that you see here is huge mechanical, metal, destroyed stuff. But they're not dead. Maybe they went underground. Maybe it took them 500,000 years to come back around. I don't know. But there's still people here. They are alive. But there's also a lot of stuff, man. A lot of huge stuff torn apart. And I just threw in some pictures of some of these things around. Just a few pictures here of some of this stuff. And I highlighted everything that I'm trying to show you, so it might look slightly cartoonish, but it's all there, and it's definitely not rocks. So I hope when you see this stuff that you could agree with them that there's broken up things to be seen, but they're not dead. They're alive. Alive and well. Maybe they're just picking up the pieces. Thanks for watching, folks.